Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EU Minor Close Qualifier. We've just seen Mousesports qualify after taking the 2-1 win over Vitality. They're not out for the count though, as they'll go to the lower bracket where they'll fight tomorrow for their lives.
Yeah, should be exciting to see what they can do there, but we also have to focus on the game at hand, right? Space Soldiers against North should be a really interesting one. I'm not sure which way this one's going to go, but talking back to the previous game, we saw that Vitality took Mousesports close, not something that I was expecting to be such a close series, even if it did end up going the way of Mousesports. Vitality proved they could put up a fight, so this could be even more competitive.
Yeah, and especially looking at the maps, which are rather interesting. I do have a bloody nose, I'm afraid, unfortunately, but I'll survive. Inferno, Overpass, and Dust2 as a possible decider, and you just looked at the stats, and they're interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a tissue? You're right.
No, I'll grab one in a bit. Hopefully someone on production has a tissue for me, because...
I'm looking around, I don't think...
Yeah, I usually have them in my bag, but I forgot to bring it to the desk, but well,
what are the chances? Literally as soon as we come on camera.
Yeah, it's always happening at that moment. It's like either you sneeze, you cough, or you get a bloody nose. Yeah. It's survival of the fittest. Yeah. But we'll go to Inferno first. Map pick of Space Soldiers. You just looked at the stats. They weren't too impressive, but then again, they have a lot of aim, and Inferno is a map where aim does help out a little bit.
Yeah, Space Soldiers, or ex-Space Soldiers, I guess I should call them, are kind of a team that have maybe gotten a bit like missing for me recently. I haven't seen anywhere near as much from them, and maybe their losses are part of the reasons why, because they're picking Inferno, a map they have a 17% win rate on, I think it was.
Great.
Not the best, but at the same time, they've been playing a lot of Pro League, I believe. They've been playing against quite a few good teams, so maybe it's a bit more understandable. It's still a little bit strange to be picking a map that you don't often get the win on, but clearly they're putting the practice into it, so you've got to go with what you're practicing, and at least they've done that. Yeah,
but we have to talk about EPL as well. They came just short of playoffs. They were on the 7th place, or 8th, and the top 7 went, so... It hurts, but sometimes it just happens, and well, they fell short. It was unfortunate, but now they can still bounce back, can still qualify for the major, but first they have to get to the minor and even go through that. Do you think they have what it takes to beat North right here?
I think it's going to be kind of tough for them, honestly. I think that North, in general, have got sort of a more even spread of firepower. Obviously, you've got Valda, who everyone would love to have on their team. I mean, maybe not Astralis, but you get the idea,
well,
right?
Still, maybe. Yeah. Like, if one of the players decides to retire with all the money they've made past the EPL finals, I think he would be the proper replacement right now. Probably one of the best Danish players out of Astralis, and Astralis is the #1 of the world.
Yeah, and he's just so consistent in the way he plays. He's a star player that also kind of plays for the team, which is weird to say, but he does. He really does fit into the system well, and he still puts up incredible numbers. As for the rest of North, Kiebi has upped his game a bit recently. He can still sometimes be that sort of shaky star player. Sometimes he'll have a really good performance. I mean, you can even see it in his aim. Sometimes
it's so shaky. Oh my god.
Yeah. But he's generally been trending a bit upwards recently. So him alongside Valda are the players to watch for North. And as long as those two show up, the rest of the team can just kind of do their job to a solid level. They're all still skilled players, but they kind of understand that Valda and Kiebi are really, really skilled, that they can kind of be the stars.
Yeah, and well, Space Soldiers, of course, having some players like Centaurus online, probably one of the most recognized forces. But can they also translate into this one? They have, of course, won one match to be here. But it was against Kingwin. Kingwin is pretty decent with Taz. Have actually done pretty well at the MDL end, but still haven't won. And that means they're still a level below, in theory, the ex-Space Soldiers.
Yeah, I like what Taz has done with Kingwin. I think he's structured the team pretty well. I think that maybe they would need 1 or 2 roster moves to really get sort of more skilled players in to actually make it fully successful. But for now, for what they're doing a pretty good job. And it's good to see that ex-Space Soldiers could beat them out there. Again, whenever you talk about this ex-Space Soldiers team, Xantares is the obvious name that stands out. And then it's kind of the question of who can step up alongside him. In the past, it's oftentimes been Calix. mix. Sometimes Paz can also be the player to perform. And then outside of that, obviously you've got Major and Engine who kind of play more supportive roles. Obviously Major as the in-game leader is generally well liked, I think. So it's kind of an interesting team. I think that in general, the fact that you don't have someone that can sort of be that solid second star, the consistency issues might be there a little bit for Space Soldiers, and we've got to see if they show up in this game just individually first.
Yeah, Inferno is their map pick. Would you say North would get demolished, or does Space Soldiers have a very capable chance of actually bringing it close accidentally and then losing it by maybe going a bit too puggy like they sometimes do, going a bit too aggressive? Centeris will maybe push out like a madman. Do you think that is likely?
I'm honestly not too sure. Again, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to see too much Space Soldiers recently, so I'm not 100% sure how they've been playing recently. If they've kind of implemented more structure, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I definitely think that North are a solid Inferno team, though. I know that Cadian, even back when he was playing on Rogue, liked to play this map fairly often. He always had quite a few fresh ideas even. Sometimes on the pistol rounds, he would go for an actual execute in towards B, which worked really well when he was on Rogue. Now he's got a bit more talent to work with. We'll see how that works for him, because I still think that Cadian can do a pretty good job for North, you know. Even though at the recent Pro League finals, they kind of struggled. They ended up getting knocked out by Sharks, I believe it was, the Brazilian team. So that was kind of a struggle for them, but I still think in the long run, he can do a pretty good job for this team.
Yeah, well, I think that North should be able to win it. Like, if you look at the lineup, if you look at their performance, sometimes they just drive through everything, and they've won against Sprout, and Sprout was one of your slightly underdog favorite teams. They can do some great stuff, but they got demolished. Yeah. There's no other way around it. North just walked over them big time. And then what are you going to expect?
Yeah, and the good thing about that was that Sprout did have one or two players still showing up. Like NATO Safix had a pretty reasonable
Also a Danish
series.
guy, of course.
Obviously, it's always the Danes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, actually, talking about it, we looked into the teams before we started today. And there's mainly Danes and Polish people. Over half of the contenders are either Polish or Danish. And that's just insane. Two countries, together with Sweden, of course, racking up most of the pro level of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of Polish teams was really incredible to me, because if you'd have told me this like a year ago, everyone would have been like, oh, well, there's VP, and then who else is there? But we're
nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, Ago and Kingwin was still around back then, but they hadn't been able to push on quite to this level. And you're even seeing teams like XCOM and Mixtura make it through. Bialy still playing on that Mixtura team, which is cool to see. So yeah, it seems like the veteran players have actually stuck around and kind of filtered down into the lower teams, and that has definitely helped them a lot. Just kind of having a veteran player is really underestimated sometimes, and it's nice to see that the Polish scene is starting to grow a little bit wider.
Yeah, and something different than we see with some other teams, like with the side of Vitality. You take in one new player, ZywOo, to train him a little bit after being trained in the lower tier teams. But in the Polish scene, you actually have the star players of VP taking all that knowledge and actually going a little bit lower and helping them up. And you see with Taz and Kingwin, they've just done miraculous work. They've just grown so fast. The same now with Mixtura. They've done an amazing job together with Bialy. And I don't know where it will end. Maybe another Polish era.
We'll have to see. Again, it's exciting for the future mainly, because over time you kind of hope that these players can sort of improve under the sort of leadership. Again, you almost feel like Bialy or especially Taz can kind of tutor some of these players and help them understand what it means to be a pro player, because obviously Taz is, I think, one of the most veteran players we have at this point. I think he's 32 years old now. He's really getting up there.
Yeah, well, like, he might be old, but he knows everything, and he's still a very good player. You can still see him show up in every match. He just, like, when the rest of the team isn't doing what they need to do, he just carries them. He's saying, no problem, I do this, I do that, you do whatever you need to do, and eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, again, we can also go back to Space Soldiers, I guess, because about a year ago, this team was kind of one of the teams that you would say are really up and coming, that maybe they'll start to go to a few more lands, they'll start to really prove themselves. That's kind of fallen off a bit. And when you look at the stats, Xantares has got really good stats overall. Then the next best player, Calix, is way, way lower down. He's nowhere near on the same level, and it kind of peters out after Xantares. So it feels like maybe this ex-Space Soldiers team needs to kind of think that through. You know, who can step up to be that second star player, because Xantares can't do it all alone.
No, and like sometimes we do see more Turkish team come in and they actually do some proper work, but it's still ex-Space Soldiers doing everything.
Yeah.
And where is that backup? Like, if one of those players would maybe step down because they have a good job opportunity or they're done with the game, what would happen then? I have no clue who would fill those shoes.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of sort of second-tier Turkish teams, I guess. I always remember, I can't remember what they're called now, but it's the team with Mini and Sasuke. That's been a team that's been around for a while, but no one's really impressed enough to kind of get that call up to Space Soldiers. So like you were saying, it's not like Space Soldiers have any other options, really. You kind of just have to stick with this 5 and make it work. So that's why I really do want to see them have a bit of a resurgence. You know, you're almost locked into having this 5-man roster unless something crazy changes, like if Woxic becomes available.
Yeah.
Then of course you're going to go for
instantly.
Him. Yeah, but I'm not sure that's going to be an option. So I would really like to see Calix kind of become that second star standout player, but he's just having those inconsistency issues for me, which kind of holds Space Soldiers back.
Yeah, something a lot of people also talk about is that ex-Space Soldiers doesn't really revolve around the AWP as much as other teams do. They're playing Inferno right now, a map where the AWP is limited in its movement, but is still one of the most impactful holding tools you can have. Do you think that might actually cost them against North?
It could do. I think the nice thing is that you definitely don't need the AWP on the T side. You can absolutely run 5 rifles on this map, so that's already a good start. And it is nice to have the AWP to try and get the opening on the CT side. Obviously, you can peek down Banana. That's a good option, peeking down mid. Even just holding towards A, you've got quite a few long-range angles. But they've still got capable AWPers on their team. I think sometimes you'll see Engine pick it up. It'll be interesting to see where that one ends up into this one. But I still think Space Soldiers can make it work with the 5 rifles. It's just that recently we haven't seen those riflers be quite good enough.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Space Soldiers will take that lead. The players are just swapping servers right now. That's why we haven't started just yet. But we'll get into the action soon enough. For this series, I still think North is the favorite though. But I think they'll go to 3 maps. I think Space Soldiers can actually take at least Inferno, maybe even Overpass just for the sake of it. And that will be a 2-1 to North.
I mean, the funny thing is as well that North have picked Overpass, like you said, where they only have a 25% win rate again.
It's so weird. Like, the previous matchup, Mouseburst versus Vitality, we looked at the odds and we're like, oh, sure, this seems fairly reasonable. They have good percentages. Oh, they haven't played that map. They'll ban it because the other side have 100% win rate. Sure. And now 17% for Inferno for Space Soldiers. They pick it. 25 for Overpass for North. And okay. That's how it works, apparently.
Apparently. I mean, the thing I will say with North is that they're generally going to the Tier 1 events as kind of a new-ish roster, so it's a bit more understandable for them, I would say. But at the same time, you generally want to be having a bit of a better win rate than that. But talking about Space Soldiers quickly, I do want to say that in their last series against Kinguin, I'm kind of pointing out that Xantares is generally that sort of superstar player.
The driving force.
Yeah, but in that last series, it was much more of a team effort. So that kind of gives me a positive sign. The kills were coming in from pretty much everyone. I think the one player that's maybe been lacking quite a bit is Engine in the last few months, but he actually had a good series there. And Space Soldiers haven't played too much recently, so maybe they have been preparing hard for this. Maybe they have up their game.
You would say so. Like, the minor isn't the most prestigious tournament, but you really need to get there to get to the major. Yeah. And this is the first step to get there. If they mess up this one, well, they're done for. They really have nothing to do for the next month. And this is something you really need to prep for, you really need to live for, and you really need to die for even. And now they'll have to die against North, maybe. They're just ready to strike, we hope, as we were still waiting for the players to get ready.
Yeah. And we talked about the map picks. Inferno picked by ex-Space Soldiers. North picked Overpass. Then we've got Dust 2 as that decider, the newest map to the pool. Not quite new anymore. It's been in for a while. It's still a map that's kind of interesting to me because I feel like it hasn't evolved too much since that rework has come through. We haven't seen too many changes.
It's the same. Like Smoke's also pretty the same.
Yeah.
And you still have the same story where an AWP can just hold off A short from long. Yeah. If that isn't contested, you probably have a problem as the T side. But still, it is an aim-heavy map, so we shouldn't write off ex-Space Soldiers. Because looking at their lineup, they do have some tactics, it's fun and all, but really their aim is always their driving force.
I think one thing that was quite a shame for ex-Space Soldiers was when Cobble got removed. They really enjoyed that map. I mean, the meme was always drop Tares because he would just always go into drop room. He would love that position. CT side, T side. He's had so many highlight clips there. So that kind of costed ex-Space Soldiers. And I was wondering if they'd start to try and incorporate Dust 2 into their map pool. It seems like they have. And I think it can work quite well for them. You know, on that T side especially, you can take fair aim fights quite often. I mean, right at the start of the round, if you go towards A long, the CTs and Ts will often have a big battle there where as long as you've got a couple of decent flashbangs, you can kind of create space. So I think it kind of makes sense for ex-Space Soldiers to have Dust 2 as one of the maps in their pool, and it definitely suits them fairly well. I could see them doing pretty well on that.
Yeah, same for North, as they did beat Astralis once on that map very heavily. It was probably the most painful defeat they've had in a long, long time, only to come back stronger and destroy North later on in the tournament. But I believe it's time to actually go towards the pistol round. It's time to actually fight and see what team will be stronger in this series. What team will join Mousesports in the lovely minor. It will be North first ex-Space Soldiers. The map will be Inferno, and it will be North on the CT side as well.
Here we go, finally getting into it. All of the server issues have been sorted. It is going to be Valder on towards the CZ. Calix buys himself a set of nades, and ex-Space Soldiers looking in towards mid. North have stacked over towards Banana pretty heavily here. So if ex-Space Soldiers were to go in towards A, they would have a good chance of success.
It is Santera solo towards the B side, trying to fight off those free players there, or at least distract them long enough that the rest of his team can actually move through. As we do actually miss a kid on the side of North. And that might actually come to haunt them if they have to retake. Luckily, production is making sure this cast won't get too bloody. As we do see the side of Space Soldiers now moving in past with the first frag. As it is now Calix trying to get a follow. Dinks Cadian, and he's stuck there. And he will fall. It's ex-Space Soldiers taking the A side.
Into a 3v3, the bomb is planted. Engine low on the site itself. Rotation's coming around, and Valder only needs one shot. Engine is gone. Second kill is found. The CZ ripping off heads. It's up to Calix to push from pit. He goes forwards, but AZ is there to meet him, and it is going to be North taking the retake on towards the A bomb site. They did give up the bomb plant, so ex-Space Soldiers have something to work with. They're going to have some extra money into round number 2. The question is, do they want to take the safe option and save for the gun round into the next, or do they want to go for some sort of investment here into round number 2? And ooh, we see a MAC-10 bought by Engine. Could see some interesting force, and there we go, 2 AKs bought up.
Going full hero play, and that's actually quite interesting to say the least, but it does suit the style of ex-Space Soldiers. It is double AKs and Terrace, of course, getting one of those. They're playing very slow, not really wanting to run into the nades. North might actually throw in. This might be a smart decision from a very aggressive team as it now tag up Kjerby. Nade goes in, but it's just a little bit too late. But they still have made their dent already on towards the side of North, who have now messed up a smoke, but AZ gets the first frag. It's Major, though, coming back. That makes it a 4-on-4.
Into the 4v4, as you said, no further aggression onto the site, even though Engine is clearing the site itself. The Molly and Smoke combo deny North from any sort of retake. For the time being, they can't deny the bomb plant, but the retake attempt will still come in after the nades fade. Cadian, looking for the M4, is forced back by the flames. Major doesn't have Kevlar either. The nades are doing damage towards him. Gade is trying to find the angle, but North need to go now. Half the time is gone on the bomb, and Valder gets another kill. It's actually Cadian who stole that one away. Space Soldiers trying to hold this one off. The Kievi pushing in. There's the kill for Engine. Needs a little bit more. Stuck in the corner, but he gets a second. Push comes in. Engine holding his ground. Neither team has any bullets. This is absolutely crazy, but it's Engine who gets it done. The Glock comes out. That really came down to the wire, but Space Soldiers secure the second round win. And that means that North have to force buy themselves into round number 3. Again, just really crazy scenes there on towards the site. But running down the clock is all the Turks had to do. And now North will go for a force buy with mostly pistols to play with. Because of that, they're going to take a risk as they stack towards B at the start of this round.
And now we'll see Xantares again going aggressive towards the B side, waiting out those nades, but also taking a little bit of damage. Of course, he's a smart man, will throw some back as well, and Gerby will take the brunt of that, going towards a 46 HP. And that means North has already taken a little bit of damage before even seeing a player on the side of Space Soldiers. We're now rotating off towards the A side, but losing banana control in the process. AZ spots it out and knows nobody's there.
I think the rotate is going to come in time. Yeah, the CTs will be in position towards A. Smoke is deployed with a minute left on the clock. AZ is just playing for info. He spots a man out, so he may just have to call for a rotation. AZ looking for a little bit more info, eventually calls for assistance, and Kiebi will be rotating over alongside a couple of other North players. The Danes are thinking about rotating to B, and they could get here in time. Space Soldiers are readying the push.
They're also pulling the pins out of the nades, which makes some noise as AZ is standing by, gets the first frag, but he can't get any more. Nades are flying in, but Kagan also gets one frag as it's still a trading game. But Space Soldiers is unfair at trading, actually gets profit out of it. So you do see Gate now being boosted up. Calyx is holding the angle, can actually help his mate out, but the bomb isn't planted just yet. The good thing is it's a 1v3. Cadian is being flanked right now by Major, and he will fall after getting just one tag down. 2-1 in favor of Space Soldiers, as North is falling on this force buy and will go on an eco.
Yeah, Space Soldiers wrestle control of this game. Interestingly, Xantares is the only player on the Space Soldiers side yet to get a kill, but he's got 4 assists, which is kind of a fun stat. I'm sure it's not fun for Xantares. He wants some kills, but he could get them in this round.
He's entry fragging. He really sacrificed himself just to gamble for those frags, and the rest of the team just, well, eventually gets them into their lap. It is Calyx going in with the Mac-10, looking for Cadian, trying to pre-fire. And he's the sole member of North holding down the B side. And he can't do much with the USP, even gets straight taken out by Xantares. The man finally gets a frag. And the rest of North is now going to save, hoping that a player of Space Soldiers will run in and will fall to the USPs.
Nice little stack. They're having a good time. Again, hoping that they can find an instant double dink. AZ makes a step, but no one is anywhere near to hear it. Looks like Xantares might be the man to find this party. I'm not sure he'll be enjoying the party, though, as the push comes in. We'll see. They could just spray them all down. Oh, there we go. Kiebi ends up getting the kill. Xantares is going to start to clean up
could actually
with a couple. Yeah, could be.
Unfortunately, he won't, as he is now on 8 HP, you would say, but still, his Gate walking in. But Xantares sprays too much, runs out of bullets. Major with the last frag makes it 3-1, but still 3 dabs against a full eco of North. It's way too expensive, and you can't really take that at this level.
Yeah, not exactly what they were looking for. We are yet to see an AWP brought up in this game, and that will continue to be the case because North can't really afford it. Interestingly, though, Cadian's keeping a bit of money in the bank buying that MP9, so that may suggest that he wants to get the AWP into the future, but right now it is just going to be the focus on this gun round at hand. North not looking for the banana control. They're sitting pretty passively over towards B. The Space Soldiers just spread out into a default.
And so time will slow down, but Space Soldiers is still pressuring towards banana. isn't too eager to slow it down. They want to keep this tempo up, the tempo where they are winning. And North is falling short time and time again, and I don't really understand. Kjaerbye going solo, gets a flashbang of his mate, but still takes damage without being able to do anything back. And Space Soldiers is 5-man stacking the banana area and are now moving in. New flashbang, new kill for Kjaerbye. Making it a 5-on-4, and Space Soldiers is now having to push in with a man less.
Ooh. Xantares not able to connect through the smoke. Look at this rotate from North. Everyone coming over towards B, and it's just at the right time. The push is coming in, but North are ready for it. AZ, you're dying to the molly. What are you doing? He ends up going down. Valda not going to get the kill as Xantares rips his head off. The rotate still coming in. Kjaerbye through the smoke only gets the one kill. It's into a 1-on-1, and Cadian still only has the MP9, but Xantares has no idea where Cadian is.
Has to clear a few positions first just to check if he might be there. But Cadian is also slowing down. I believe there's an AK at car he could pick up. But will he though? It will make some noise, and I think he's just trying to play the time, hoping that Xantares might actually peek into him. But as time is running out, Cadian has to move closer. And Xantares, his plant position is actually very smart, but Cadian knows. He knows exactly where he'll be. The molly is maybe a bit delayed. Cadian goes in. Xantares' spray is completely off. Doesn't deal a single point of damage. That will mean the second round for North as well. And he'll save a lot of utility to go with it.
A wild spray from Xantares. Doesn't connect a single bullet. And that allows Cadian to secure the clutch. I think Cadian there realized that with 20 seconds left on the clock, Xantares was quite unlikely to run all the way over towards A. I think he had a bit more time than that at the start there, but it's such a big gamble to run over to A. It gives away the sound cues. You have no clue if Cadian is in towards CT. So Cadian just took the risk that it's likely to be a B play, a calculated risk he took, and it pays off for him as he finally gets an AWP into his hands. The first sniper bought into round number 6, and Cadian looks to peek down mid.
And so he will. Major is standing by, but the trigger discipline of Cadian is just a bit too much. And so time will pass, and he'll actually take a very risky position. No player helping him out whatsoever. As the other North players are standing by at balcony and pit. And now Cadian is actually scared it might be a B play once again, so he decides to swap around with Kjaerbye. This might actually mean some aggressive play towards the banana area.
Again, AZ just looking for the information, but he crosses over towards sandbags. That might be poorly timed, but Cadian there to help him. AZ still waiting in the corner. It's Cadian who's trying to rattle off the shots, but it's AZ who makes them hit the floor. Cadian gets one of his own, and these two players are shutting it down. AZ and Cadian get all the kills between them, but Space Soldiers just couldn't find the trades.
Yeah, but it didn't really use utility either, and that's really unfortunate for them. As North now equalizes the score, and with the mighty work of the AWP of Cadian, it comes back in the end. 2 frags and even an assist by wallbang through that little wall on banana. And now they have to fight an eco as well. Deagles for almost all players of the Space Soldiers. But that should not be enough, unless if Gate goes a bit too aggressive here. Gets the first frag onto pass, and now also knows where Engine is. Knows he shouldn't overstep his boundaries. Will fall back towards the pit area.
Against the low by, no need to take risks. That is a good nade. Major gets chunked down to 39 HP. Again, North quite willing to leave one man towards B, although just as I say that, AZ thinks twice about his rotation. Considering you're against a low buy, I think just holding your standard setup is fine. Cadian on a very tight angle, not able to react in time, but he's got Valda there to help him, so he won't be overwhelmed. And again, Cadian misses another shot.
Yeah, but still he's also baiting for Valda. They won't expect the second player to be here, despite it being very common. And there you see it, Valda with the first frag onto Major, will now cross as well after he throws the molly. But Xantares has taken down Cadian with that Glock. The AWP out for the count right now for North. And it's back to a 4-on-3. Still a round. Space Soldiers should, in theory, lose. But they have done at least a little bit of damage. It might actually do more as Valda's playing on his lonesome. Actually gets to, and it is Gate helping him out. 4-3. North take the lead. And now we'll try to extend it against an AK buy of the ex-Space Soldiers.
The full rifles brought up. Nades looking pretty good for ex-Space Soldiers, although they are missing a couple of pieces of utility. again, they won't be too worried about lacking the AWP, although that does mean that Cadian's got a bit of freedom on that CT side, and he's using that freedom right now to stick towards the A side of things. He could have decided to go towards B, in towards Banana, but interestingly, yet again, North are willing to give up this Banana control. Generally, if you game Banana this easily, you can go for a pretty easy B execute, but here we go. The delayed Banana take comes in from North. That was really well timed. The damage is done. This nade could finish the job. Doesn't quite get the kill, but a lot of damage done by those nades.
That was a lovely setup from North, which actually surprised both of us, I would say. But I was already feeling something as there were 3 players of North just standing by on the B side. And you don't do that if you just give up B control like that. There's no reason to stack it on a buy round. And now they actually had a good plan. It didn't really work out too well, so they couldn't get a frag. But still, AC is just moving in without a flashbang. Yeah, one is standing by onto Kjerby whenever he needs it, and 3 players are moving in together with the bomb. So he might actually have a nice visit for himself.
Ooh, Zantara is playing the headshot angle because he's low on health, making himself a small target. AZ decides it's time to fall back. He spotted one man, but doesn't call for a massive rotate. Only Valda rotating over with the UMP. And with 30 seconds left, look at the utility left for Space Soldiers. This is not going to be an easy take with a smoke and 2 flashes.
Kjerby is standing anti-flash as well, so push will now fall in. Is Kjerby with the first frag, trying to get more as Santeris is just standing by. And all of X-Space Soldiers has to go through a smoke, and that does not really work out. They have gotten a few frags. Then Gate comes in, it's still a 1v1 somehow. X-Space Soldiers bring it back, and it's only Cadian alive. The AWP might actually get the angle, and so he will hit the shot as well. Picks up a kid because he needs one. And now it will be 5-3. North takes the lead a little bit further. It's a scavenging hunt for Cadian right now.
Yeah, Cadian, again, the closer, secures the round win on the rotation. I'd have thought that North could have made that win a bit cleaner, to be honest, with how many players they had towards B. Again, it was kind of hard to see exactly what went down, but Space Soldiers were basically just having to push through a smoke with a couple of flashes. Kjerby got a couple of kills. I thought he'd done enough because he drew the attention towards him, and it does still go the way of North, but maybe a bit closer than we were expecting. Again, though, Space Soldiers continuing to force up. I know they're not a team that relies on those nades too much, but this is another weak buy where they are missing some nades. Major takes some damage, but Paz is the first casualty. Valda looking for more. Oh, Valda makes it a 3K. Beautifully done. Gay gets one of his own, and this is an absolute shutdown.
It is Kjerby getting the last one through the smoke. 6 rounds already for North. And still, Space Soldiers without real money to have a full buy, and so they should go on the pistol armor. And so they will. Eventually it all dawns on them. And it's North just building back, especially last round. A clean round against the force buy of your opponents always works. Just buy a little bit more utility, and everyone has a roughly around 5K average.
Here we go. Pistols straight down Banana. Quick B play coming into play. Kjerby in the corner, but AZ there to assist him. AZ gets a 4K. Beautifully done. Only against the pistols, but still important he holds that off as Major nearly dies in the flames. A second molly to follow, but the bomb plant will come in. So the bonus money is gathered, and okay, Major, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing?
It's called barbecue for a reason.
I guess, yeah.
And well, that's some way to end the round where you could at least have gotten an extra frag, maybe deal a bit of economic damage on towards your opponents, but it's now 7-3. North is still looking strong, but Space Soldiers can now finally have a real full buy with the AWP onto Major.
I mean, Major died on top of the coffin there, so I guess you could say he did dig his own grave in that round. Quite literally.
Well, maybe it was so, as Gate will pick up that AK together with the Tech 9 somehow. It's going to rely on Cadian again, as that AWP has been so strong, but as the mollies and nades fly in, he knows he has to play a bit more passively, especially as he is the solo B player. It is North expecting to see some more action towards the A side, where they have gone very aggressive in the past. Now just standing by, waiting for this lovely visit. And 2 players actually in Boiler might make it work. It's Pass falling. And that's already a 5-on-4 pretty early in the round, and no one to refrag.
Cadian decides to fall back. I'm not sure if he got blinded, but he's going to need some rotations to come through. Valda will start to move over towards B. Space Soldiers have left the bomb behind, so they can't go for that B take just yet. And this is what I want to see from Space Soldiers, actually. If you get that full banana control for free and you have all your nades left, going for that B execute is really strong. You just have to smoke off CT, smoke off coffins. You can even throw a couple of mollies into play, but Space Soldiers decide they don't want to go for the B execute. They are fancying their chances towards A, but look at how many nades North have left. They've done a great job at holding their utility.
And Kjerby is just throwing the molly out, saying, oh, this time you had, it's now gone. AC goes a bit too aggressive, though. Gets one, but gets traded out, and now it's Kjerby to finish things off for his team. He gets two, and maybe wants to get Major as well. Unfortunately, he will fall, but there is still yet another player there on the A side. Is Gate looking over the smoke and getting the last frag, and maybe even the AWP. It will be 8-3 in favor of North. A tactical timeout will come out. And Space Soldiers can luckily buy into another round.
Yeah, I think that the tactical timeout is really needed at this point. Again, North should never be allowed to have that many nades with 30 seconds left. There's almost no way for you to get onto a site there because they're just going to smoke everything, molly everything off. They're going to buy themselves so much time. Space Soldiers are going to have a buy into this round, and maybe it is time to go for a little bit of some early aggression. You don't necessarily have to push fully towards a site, but just try and see if you can work something towards banana maybe in towards top mid, where North have been willing to fight, because right now Space Soldiers may just be giving a bit too much respect to North.
But it's also mainly going together, because so far Space Soldiers has been picked off one by one. And that's the real problem. North is playing together. Look at these flashes. They're already setting up their game plan. They've already called it out in the tactical timeout of Space Soldiers, and you see them run through banana. And the bomb is still in despawn, and now they have gotten control. And Space Soldiers, well, they're going to commit towards the A side, it seems. But they have no real other option because they have to clear the banana area otherwise, and it's going to be a hassle.
North are still sticking with two players towards banana, so that gives the Turks an opportunity to try and hit this A bomb site. Kjerby decides to fall back, taking the safe approach, which I am a fan of in that position. You don't have the support, so just fall back, play with your teammates on the site itself. North are playing this really passively, though. Now they're not even holding short or apartments. They're just looking to get the crossfires on the site. And we'll see if that works for them. The push about to come through, or Space Soldiers could slow it down. We'll see.
Less utility than they had last time, but still the first frag coming in. It's Gate opening things up, but Kjerby is a bit too shaky, bringing it back to a 4-on-4, and now Gate is stuck on side. Gate is coming in, Vald is helping out, and somehow it is North winning this round. Only Engine alive. He'll be traded out soon enough. 9-3 in favor of North, and like, they use their flashes so well. You saw Kjerby peeking long twice. Then they know, okay, no one's coming from long. We can actually put more pressure towards the short area, get the first frag there. Then sometimes it goes a bit south, but they already know so much that the rest of the team can rotate.
Yeah, well played by North in that round, using the nades and also just having good crossfires on the site. You know, they were confident that they could just hold it from the site itself. If that hold fails, you're in a whole lot of trouble because you've lost the site, the rotate can't be there. You have to be able to get those crossfires working for you, and they make sure that they play alongside each other, as you pointed out. That is kind of the main difference between these two teams right now. The team play is excellent from North, whereas for Space Soldiers, they did try and use their nades that round, but they just weren't ready for the positions that North were playing. And again, it's not the best position for the ex-Space Soldiers lineup. On their own map pick, they are 9-3 behind, and they're stuck with pistols into round 13.
And that is really something that makes you scared if you're an ex-Space Soldiers fan. But not to worry. There are still possibly 2 maps to come, as we do have a best of 3 to see who will join Mousesports in the EU Minor. So far, it seems to be North, but you never know. Ex-Space Soldiers can always do something miraculously. If Santaris just goes ham like he always does, gets that AK going, there are still possibilities, and Cadian is hitting his shots.
Molly buys him a bit more time. He can afford to hold this angle, knowing that he cannot be overwhelmed by these pistols. Is a little bit of a worry that he's alone here. Just one headshot towards him could completely scupper North's chances at the round, although obviously Cadian would be favored in this long-range fight. Flash deployed. Cadian avoids it. Holds the angle, and there's the kill he needed. Smoke is deployed, but I think Space Soldiers just go through that one. They've got the flash, but Cadian now has the help. AZ here to assist him. 2 kills found, and that is the bomb dropped.
Good molly and some good flashes as well. Is now coming for the flank. Sees Major, but sees him almost a bit too late. And eventually he does get the double kill. 10-3 right now for North, and they're taking it home pretty fast. And that's something we might have not really expected to go this fast.
And again, you look at the kills, Valda up there at the top, Gade also doing work alongside AZ. 2 of the players that sometimes can be a bit up and down, especially AZ, right? He's actually been able to improve his performance pretty recently, but we'll see if that continues as Valda again wants to get involved. The smoke down mid, Valda pushing forwards, and Major goes through the smoke into his death. He didn't realize Valda could be so close, and Valda wants more. Oh no, Xantares is in the corner. Valda knows he's here. He goes for the spray, and North are just all over Space Soldiers.
The disrespect is coming out, and they're just using what they're getting. Space Soldiers is just respecting them so much, as you said earlier. They can just do whatever they want. The smokes are there, the flashes are there. Next, Space Soldiers just too hesitant to use their own nades, and that really cost them. And yet another round goes to the Danish side. And we'll go to the last round of the first half to see if Space Soldiers can bring it back slightly on this T side, or if they will fall once again. And that would be detrimental.
Well, they get a good enough buy, I guess. They get full rifles. Again, the nades are fine. As for North, they can get literally anything they wanted into this one, but they stick with what's been working. 1 AWP for Cadian. And Space Soldiers not looking in towards Banana at the start of this round. Engine just holding for any mid-aggression. I think you can see now Space Soldiers are realizing that North are so confident that it's worth them just holding back, seeing if any aggression comes through. They're hoping that North gift them an opening into the round. But this time, North playing it safe, making sure that they don't give any opportunities to the Turkish team.
Galaxy is moving up, trying to be that driving force for his team. But he eventually just falls back. It's Space Soldiers not really daring to go for the 1v1s anymore, as they're noticing they're losing them. They're just giving so much room, and even more 1v1s, and Cadian is just taking advantage of it. Takes down Xantares. The rest of the team wants to go towards the A side, but a lot of utility is still standing by to make short work of that nade. Might fly in soon from AZ. That will deal a lot of damage onto Major, as the rest of the team has already moved past, you would say.
Nade about to be deployed, not at the right time, and oh, Paz rips his head off. AZ is gone. Valda looking to see if he can make a play. Could get into the back lines, but it's Gade to only get the 1 kill. And Cadian and Kiebi have got a difficult retake on their hands. Inferno retakes are notoriously difficult, even towards the A bomb site. And as that bomb gets planted, Cadian and Kiebi have to go for it, but they're not going to like their chances.
They do have a little bit of utility, and of course both have the fuse kit. Because if they wouldn't with this amount of money, I would have probably flamed them a little bit. But now they'll go for this retake. Galaxy is the first target to find, but he'll get a frag onto Kiebi. 1v3 alive for Cadian. And he's moving in with that AWP, trying to get in, but he'll get taken out as well by Galaxy. That means it will be 11-4. Space Soldiers eventually fight back slightly at the end. But eventually it will still be more of a bloodbath than my nose was before this game.
Yeah, that was only a little bit of blood for you. This is...
Yeah, this is worse. This is painful to say the least. Like, Space Soldiers is a decent team. They know how to frag, but so far everything they've tried, North just had an answer. Just had the flashbangs ready, the mollies ready. And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's really hard to find a way back into this one for Space Soldiers, because not only are they struggling with that team play, they're also struggling to win most of these fights.
Yeah.
Like, North have just shown up individually. Valda has just been doing whatever he pleases, sometimes pushing down mid. Generally, you think of him as a bit more of a passive player, but once it gets to the point where he's getting that confident, he can make those plays, and he's definitely capable of pulling them off. So you can just see North really feeling very confident.
Yeah, but was this North bringing in a game plan, or was it just Space Soldiers giving too much respect?
I don't really know, because the thing is, Space Soldiers, they were playing slow, but I almost feel like they wanted to play pretty slow throughout. And it seemed as though they were just trying to play slow and then explode onto sites. The one thing I will say is that I really would have liked Space Soldiers to go for some sort of B execute at some point with the full nades, because that's not something that's too difficult to set up, even if you're more of a puggy team. But either way, here we go. North have got a lot of utility for this pistol round. I think this could be the Cadian special where we see that B execute that I was talking about on the pistol round, and he pulled this out back when he was the in-game leader for Rogue. It generally works pretty well to clear the players out, so we'll see if those smokes and mollies can come through.
Santaris is the first man to hold it, but he'll actually fall back slightly as the smoke comes in. There is no flash to chime in, but he will also miss his shots as it's now Kjerby leading the charge for his team. It's Calix falling to AZ rather. And now it's already a 5-on-4 bomb will be planted fairly soon. There is a defuse kit on Space Soldiers, so they won't be too scared. They also have flashbangs. 2 players now coming in from Banana, but also 2 players are holding it off. Kjerby standing by with Volley, but a wallbang is coming in. But will they expect Volley here? They're not checking the angle. It's the first frag coming in with a P250. He has no armor though, just like the rest of his team, and he will fall to pass. It's a 3-on-2 and Space Soldiers can actually do this.
Last man in the smoke. Cadian has snuck his way around. They're not going to expect him in CT. Oh my goodness. Cadian, could you really pull this off? They have to look at CT. They cleared everything else. So they realized that Cadian had slipped through the cracks. And that means Space Soldiers get the retake successfully. I still like that play from North, though. You can almost always get the bomb plant there towards B, as long as the CTs are playing it passively, as was the case there. And that was a round where North's mollies didn't actually clear out the positions that the CTs were playing from, but it's just a few less positions you have to look towards. Makes it a bit easier on the push. And into this 17th round, we see an investment from North. They got that bomb planted, but they invest quite heavily into this round.
Interestingly enough, it's a CC buy, and they'll go towards the A side, it seems, if you look at the utility. But was that smoke popped on the roof? No, luckily it wasn't Abs. I was just a bit confused because I saw something flying out, and despite them being pros, you sometimes see things you rather not see, especially when you're playing yourself. Still a 5-on-5 though, as time is running out very slowly. Space Soldiers doesn't have the best buy on some of the players, but they do have some great positions and do have some good utility. It is the first fight, no damage being dealt, however, and that means it will slow down a little bit more.
North not committing to anything with 1 minute left. They've got loads of nades to work with, and Valdo wins that duel against Major. That's a nice pick to find in towards A. We're not seeing any rotate just yet, although Xantares is thinking about it. He is starting to move in towards CT. As North continue to bide their time, those nades are finally being put to use towards the A site.
Santaris already at Archway though, so he could help with the second M4 of Space Soldiers. Problem is, the pit is now maybe being lost, but Santaris already gets a third as well. It's only Kjerby alive with 1 CC to work with. He gets the second frag, but only has 18 HP. And still 2 players left to find with a little bit of time left. Calix also rotated, gets the last one. It's the 6th round for Space Soldiers. And slowly but surely, they're dawning on towards the north of their score.
That rotation from Xantares proving pivotal in that round. He was over towards B, but he decided to reposition over towards the A site, and he got there just in time to stop that push in its entirety. North were trying to just get that bomb planted from that Apps rush, but unable to do so, and that means they have to go for pistols once more. Cadian moving in towards Banana. The molly doesn't go his way. I think he'll be okay. It's a close one.
Just about.
Yeah, it's toasty. Oh, the nade. That's brutal. He's on 6 HP from a nade.
Well, the rest of the team then says, we'll take care of this, no worries. But Santaris is holding the angle. Finally, he's coming alive. And has made his KD now currently positive. The problem for Calix, though, is that the push comes in with a flashbang, and now the rest of the team will fall back, but Engine is ready with a FAMAS and will actually get free. Might want to go for the 4th as well, but that might actually be a bit too dangerous for him.
The round should be won. AZ's just waiting for a peek, and, well, he finds the player, but Xantares finds his head in reply. So it is the 7th round on the board, as you would expect. However, here comes the buy from North. They saved pretty heavily for this one, so they should have full nades. I wonder if we'll see an AWP. It looks like we might not see one. Oh, an MP5 for Cadian, interestingly enough. I guess maybe he wants to run and gun or something. Maybe he'll be leading the way. All of North are sticking together, so it could just be a quick push with him leading the charge, I guess.
Maybe he was expecting a lack of head armor for X-Space Soldiers, but I don't really understand why, as Cadian is now moving in. Will actually indeed run and gun, but he will also fall. It's Vald and Kjerby both with a first frag of the round. And now it's already an advantageous position. Only Engine left on side with that M4. He hasn't had the best score just yet, but will get a double frag right here. Answered though by Kjerby, making it back into a 2-on-2. Next Space Soldiers is already wrapping around the side, using their utility to get closer and maybe make life harder for Kjerby.
Calix waiting for Xantares to help him out. That smoke has just been deployed from pit. That should give away one of the player's positions, or at least roughly where he is playing from. Calix not going to look towards the pit, though. Spots the man on the site. He knows where the last man is. Valder has got the molly. He's going to buy more time. Flash not deployed. Valder crosses over. Calix is going to get the kill. Is there time? He's got the smoke. He doesn't have the kit. I don't know if he's got this one. It's close.
I don't think he has. It's just a bit too late, and he knows as well. He'll die anyway. It will be 12-7. And eventually, after a run and gun round of Cadian, North brings it back. 12-7 is your score, and I like Space Soldiers with that retake, taking it a bit slow. I'm also confused at North that they used their molly so incredibly late. Didn't really use their flashbangs. Despite knowing that Space Soldiers would most likely come from short because there was already smoke and long, you have two mollies to cover off another position if you want to.
Well, this could be the decisive round. The CT buy is suboptimal, but if they were to lose this one, their money would be demolished. If the CTs lose this round, then X-Space Soldiers will not be in good shape. Especially as, remember, this is the map pick of X-Space Soldiers. They're 5 rounds behind. They have to win this one to keep themselves above water. Otherwise, they could be drowning. North are going to get this banana control, using their nades to make sure everything is clear. I think that was a little bit of team damage there. Kjerby even takes some damage from a nade, so he's down to 60 HP. But North all grouping up towards B, and we should see this execute come through that I was talking about, that oftentimes can be successful.
Yeah, just a little bit of background information from that little shot onto Kjerby. It was Cadian saying, just go. You're playing a bit too passively and we just need to do this push. You'll be the entry frag despite taking a little bit of damage, but they're slowing down. As X-Space Soldiers answers their smoke with one of their own. But still there are a lot of flashes to work with for North. 2 smokes left remaining. They're getting closer into a better position. It's actually Valder holding off mid, still hoping for a rotator, but no one is actually pushing. It's Calix falling to gate. The rest of North is chiming in and getting the frags as well.
Great job from Gade, gets the 2 entries. Oh, there's no need for this, Gade. 12 HP, gives away his life, and maybe gives the X-Space Soldiers a chance to retake this, and Valder goes down on the flank. This could be costly. A 3v3 retake is very doable, and Kjerby decides to reposition. They now know exactly where he is. Luckily, there's no molly on the CT side. Otherwise, he would be in trouble. The time is ticking away. They have to go now. The push has to come in from the CTs, and Cadian holds the off angle. This is not going to be happening. Major gets 1 kill, but the time has ticked too far. North win the crucial round. Round 13 on the board for them, and X-Space Soldiers are not going to like their chances now.
They'll have to go in an eco and sort of give North their 14. And when a team gets to 14, your economy is really being pressured. And North might be happy. Only 2 more rounds after that, and they'll get the map pick of their opponents. And already, well, build their way to get to the minor. And that's something every team here wants. And this is probably the most stacked EU close qualifier I've ever seen in my life.
Major was thinking about pushing, decides against it. I was half expecting to see some Zeus shenanigans in this round from Space Soldiers. You always seem to see those Zeuses crop up on Inferno around those close corners, but it is just the default pistols and the P250s in play. Doesn't look like they're going to do too much as Paz finds the 1 kill for the entirety of the team. Calix and Xantares trying to rotate over, but it looks like this round is a foregone conclusion, and it's not going to be going the way of X-Space Soldiers.
At least they're playing together. That's something positive to take into account, but still they will lose the round, and that will mean the 14 for North. And that is the big number, but still one that doesn't really get you the map just yet. It is Space Soldiers hoping to get those exit frags, but North should know better. They're going to save in pit, and maybe Space Soldiers wants to push in later on, maybe to get those frags, because they know they might be sitting right there. They've covered off the exit angles. Now they'll try to do a little bit of damage. If they do some, actually the bomb will make it work. And Valde will fall, as he did almost block out one of his team. Oh, he's actually surviving.
Yeah, I think they planted further into the site, I guess. I didn't actually see where the bomb was planted, but looks like they are fine. Would have been nice if there was a nade, then maybe it could have done enough damage, but not this time around. Either way, we have to focus on this one. This is, again, a must-win round. At this point, almost every round is a must-win round for the ex-Space Soldiers side if they want to come back on Inferno. They're not going to be fighting too hard for banana control, although, just as I say that, Xantares getting a bit cheeky behind that smoke, trying to see if there's anything he can get, but the molly will decide to force him back. Doesn't take too much damage from that one, but North will happily gain that banana control.
And so they will stick with Cadian on this position. AC also standing by. And will they try to fake it out a little bit, just use a little bit more utility? It would seem like ways, because you know ex-Space Soldiers has been respecting your boundaries so much so far. As Anima is actually playing a bit more aggressively, hoping someone will move in. And they tried to wallbang but couldn't find anything, as Gate is now trying to pig it in. No damage exchange in the battle, however. There's still a second player. Major will get the refrag, but still is the opener for North, the opener they desire to get that opening to the 15th round.
Oh, Kiebi is slipping through the cracks in towards CT spawn. He's about to meet a player on the other side. Xantares is in trouble. Kiebi hunts him down, but Xantares wins the fight. Kiebi knew exactly where the opponent was, but he couldn't convert the kill. And now North just decide to go for the B execute. They use their little nades to try and push forwards. However, Xantares sprays through. Doesn't do the damage, but Calyx still at the back. Kills coming in. 2 frags found from Valde. That is the difference maker, as there's only one CT anywhere near this retake. Paz is going to have to wait a long time to get the help of Major, and without a kit, I don't think this is doable.
And they also have no utility whatsoever, and that really grinds their gears. Of course, AC is low, they dinged him, but still 2 more players at half HP should be more than enough, especially with the crossfire set up with Cadian and his mate Valde. First frag also comes in for the IGL of North. He will try to finish it off as well. He's just teasing with his food right now. Eventually Major will fall 15-7. Map point right now for North on the map pick of their opponents. And that is a very big mental blow.
Yeah, everything looking good from North. Everything is just really well timed, well structured for this team. That's a positive sign for sure. You know, Cadian might not be a great fragger, but he can hold his own, and it looks like the system he's putting into place is starting to be more and more successful. I'm really happy to see that, because this is a North that we need to see. They've got the talent, and if they can continue playing like this, then they're going to be a strong side into the future. Again, ex-Space Soldiers have made some mistakes, but you've got to give credit to North. They have played this really well, and it looks like they should be able to take this first map over the line. Not the best nade from Major. He will fall back, having taken a little bit of damage through those walls. And again, North just holding across the map.
And again, no kit for ex-Space Soldiers. They do still have some utility to work with. The problem is they have no map control. How much they try, it doesn't matter at all. It's only Major maybe going a bit more aggressive towards Abs once again. The rest of the team is just chilling out, but still very scared of maybe losing it. North is making use of that really well. Just playing the timeout, hoping Space Soldiers will make a mistake. But so far they've been playing smart, hoping that North will run into their arms. And is this a fake? The bomb is still towards top Banana, and Valde takes down Major as well. They're just sensing the water, but the bomb is still now at Banana and is now moving back, but it will be a B-split through CT. North already planned this from the get-go. They only need to find Calyx, as Xantares is trying to flank with the MP9, but from that range he can't get the frags. As Paz will also fall. It's Valde doing some great work. Oh, he will die as well, and suddenly it's Space Soldiers coming back slightly, but suddenly they lose 2 players as well. It's a 1v3 for Engine, and it is the map for North, 16-7. And that is the first one of maybe 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a risk at the end there, leaving the bomb alone towards Banana. If Calyx gets that kill, he could maybe run down the clock. There was about 15 seconds left when Calyx lost that fight, but it goes the way of North. Again, good ideas coming through, well executed, just solid all round from North, especially when you've got the individuals showing up for this team. That's when they can really thrive, and that's exactly what we saw there. Great job from the Danes.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can make it work once again on the second map. It will be Overpass, it will be their pick as well, and after the break we will see if they can shine through once again.